Discipline is nothing to do with just jumping straight into trying to become disciplined at this one thing, but instead it's small little steps that you need to break down. And that's why you start from waking up with just one alarm, brushing your teeth in the morning. It's stuff that you can do every day, stuff that is easy to forget, but you will do every single day anyways. So then eventually, honestly, everything just takes time, and eventually you will just get used to it. You will get used to getting up with one alarm, getting up and brushing your teeth immediately, getting up and doing your skincare in the morning. You just get like this little habits that you will do every single day that will train you to become disciplined, and then eventually you can bring it on to your studies. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about why you should be disciplined and not motivated. Honestly, a lot of people get it so wrong. When it comes to studying, a lot of people, especially in my TikTok comment section, they're always like, how do you stay motivated? How do you become motivated? What motivates you? You guys are asking the wrong questions. You should not be asking about how to become motivated and things like that. What you need to be looking for is how to become disciplined. Now, in order to become disciplined, there's a very few simple steps that you can take, but it is tedious. And it basically, unfortunately, roots out all the lazy people. So I used to be this lazy person where I wouldn't be able to get up with just one alarm. I would not be able to study unless I'm motivated. I'm basically the most undisciplined person out there. And this is to my dad's dismay because he's a very disciplined person. And he always has been very disciplined. Like, he told himself that he's gonna do his PhD no matter what. And because of it, even though he has no motivation to do it, literally at the age of 40 or something like that, he went and did his PhD. And if that's not discipline, I don't know what is. So I trained myself to become disciplined. And because of this, I am able to study literally anytime I want, even though I literally have this impending doom in me where I'm like, I can't study because if I study, then that means I have to do the exam. If I have to do the exam, then there's a chance of me failing, blah, 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 blah. Even though there's that fear inside of me, even though there's no motivation for me to study, and I'm just like, I really can't study. I'm just so lazy right now. I really can't be asked. It doesn't matter. I will still study because I am disciplined. So here's how I trained myself to become disciplined. The first thing that I did was that I looked at my alarms in the morning and I turned off every single one except for the time that I want to get up. Now, this took a lot of tries. Like, I think this took about a month or 2 months to do because it's really tough to break a habit that you've been doing all your life, where you've had an alarm set for like every 5 minutes, or you keep snoozing your alarm. And sometimes people just don't hear it. Like my sister, she can't hear her alarms at all. I don't know why, but it literally is just because you didn't train yourself to do this. So what you should do is that in the morning, instead of using the alarms that you have on your phone, the built-in ones, you can change it into the music that you like. Now, this is obviously the quickest way to hate the song that you like, but honestly, it's fine because 10 years later, you're gonna like that song again anyways. So I had Frozen because I really liked Frozen at that time. I had the Let It Go song as like my wake up song. Now, I literally would wake up dancing to this song. That is so, I can't dance, I'm just saying to you guys, but I would wake up and like imitate her movements from the movie, you know? I would imitate Elsa's movements from the movie. And because of that, I would get up in the morning feeling ready. Now then, this only lasted for like maybe 4 days. Then after that, I just got bored of the song and I went to sleep afterwards. So like I would get up and then go back to sleep. And then obviously afterwards I would need another alarm, or I would have to snooze the alarm. So I kept doing this with every single song that I could find that I thought would be annoying to me. So you know that song where it's like, you spin my head right round? That's so loud, isn't it? And I put it at the very loudest part of the ringtone, like the ringer section. The ringer, what's it called? I put it on the highest ringer setting, and because of that, it was so incredibly loud at the side of my head that I just woke up. Like, I was shocked when I woke up, you know? Like, it literally scared me that I would actually wake up because of that. So then it got my heart going, it got me going in the morning, and because of that, I was able to stop snoozing my alarms. that process took maybe about 10 tries. As I said before, I just kept changing different songs, just like more and more annoying sounds. I never used like an alarm system, like, you know, the sound of like a tornado or something like that. I never used that, just in case I actually hear it in real life and I think it's my alarm to get up. I don't want to do that, so I didn't use any of like the natural disaster alarms, basically. After getting that part of my life sorted, then everything kind of spiraled from there. Once you have one side of your life sorted, you can easily kind of integrate it into everything as well. Especially when you're trying to build your self-discipline up, it is so easy to work it up after the first barrier. The hard part is just jumping from like getting through that first barrier. That is the hard part. Everything after that becomes really easy because all you have to do is just rinse and repeat. And you've already done this first bit for like a month, 2 months. So you've already created that habit. So the second step is just repeating that for something else. So in this case, for me, this would be getting up and getting ready in the morning. So I would get up immediately. Second step would be to get ready. So brush my teeth. I've always been pretty bad at doing my bed, like tidying up. I've always been very bad at that, and I still am very bad at that to this day because I just don't find it as like an important thing. But I know that a lot of like gurus out there and a lot of people out there always say that that's a good thing, so I will be trying that. I just haven't to this day. So I do other things like actually brush my teeth in the morning even though I'm not going anywhere or things like that, because when I'm not going anywhere I tend to be like, well, I'm not going to see anyone, who cares. But then after that I developed this discipline to always brush my teeth as soon as I get up, and then always do my face, like do my face wash, do my morning skincare before I get up. I mean, after I get up, the first thing in the morning. So I got myself disciplined to do that. After that, I started to become disciplined in my studies. So this is where I started integrating it into my study sessions, where I'm like, okay, so now I'm already disciplined in other aspects of my life. I already know how to become disciplined. I can train myself to become disciplined for my studies. So with my studies, I started to get disciplined by doing 1 hour of studying every single day. Now, I used to do 15 hours of studying, 12 hours of studying, but this is not sustainable for every single day. So I would have 15 hours of studying in the week, and then after that, like in the start of the week, and then after that, I just stopped studying at all. And even in that 15 hours of studying, I'm like, oh my God, like I'm so motivated to study. I'm gonna do this. This is my year. I don't want people to think I am dumb. I don't want people to keep saying I am dumb. I can do this. I'm smarter than people think. I want to prove everybody wrong. That was my motivation. And when I am motivated, when that is in my mind, I'm like, yes, 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 I can do this. I can do this. So I go to my desk, I sit down, I do my studying. And then the next day I'm like, well, I studied yesterday. I studied for 15 hours. I'm just gonna take a break for today. I'll do tomorrow. And then the next day comes and I'm like, well, I'm still a little bit tired. I'm pretty sure I can catch up anyways. I'm really smart. I can just catch up. I don't know who I was lying to, but I was not smart at that time. So I definitely did not catch up with my work. And that is why I got an E at that time. Okay. So anyways, afterwards, I was like, instead of doing 15-hour grinds and then not studying the days afterwards, maybe it's better if I study for an hour every single day. So remember I told you before about the alarms. Alarms work so well for me because that was the first thing that I trained myself to do. So with these alarms, I would set an alarm every single day for me to study. So if it's like 8 p.m., I would set the alarm to 8 p.m. And as soon as that alarm would ring, because I'm so used to like immediately getting up when I hear an alarm, I would get up, go to my desk and study. Now, because it's just an hour, I'm just like, an hour is not a lot of time. So I would break it down. I would literally draw a circle and then split it into 4 parts. And I would say, okay, this circle is 60 minutes. So I just need to break it down into 15 minutes. I just need to study for 15 minutes at a time, basically. Because I broke it down into smaller parts, it makes it so much more achievable for me. So I'm like, okay, I just need to study for 15 minutes. That's not that bad. And even if that sounds like a lot of time for you, just break it down even more. Be like, oh, I just need to study for 5 minutes 3 times. It doesn't sound that bad. You're just studying for 5 minutes. Like, that is so simple. You literally make tea for 5 minutes. So it's just making tea 3 times, basically, but you're actually learning at this time. So after I started doing this alarm system, where I have an alarm set at a single time that I want to study every single day, that's when then I can start to build up my endurance. I started with an hour at a time, so I would study an hour every single day. Yes, even weekends. The timing doesn't matter, like what time of the day I study, when, where, it doesn't really matter. What mattered was just the time frame that I would do it for. So I could do like 8 p.m. on a Monday, maybe 4 p.m. on a Tuesday, 9 a.m. on a Saturday. It doesn't matter. The routine is something that you'll build later on. For now, you just want to get yourself disciplined to study for an hour a day and then build up your endurance. Now, to build your endurance, the one that worked for me best was the Pomodoro technique. You can do anything that you want, but I use the Pomodoro technique specifically in the start using the alarms. So there's one, I don't have my iPad with me, but there's one where it's like green and red. I was using it in my TikTok live yesterday. It was really good, and it has an alarm built into it. So when it's time for you to study, there's an alarm for it. When it's time for you to take a break, there's an alarm for it. And remember, with this technique, you have trained yourself to be up and ready whenever you hear an alarm. And I follow it to the T. If I hear the alarm ring and I'm not done writing this one sentence, it's okay. I will not continue writing this sentence because that is my break time. And if I'm playing a game and the alarm rings, even though I'm in the middle of a battle in my Hogwarts Legacy, I will stop playing. I will stop playing and I will continue studying. And that is just how I've trained myself to be because of the alarm system that I've taught myself, basically. So eventually I brought my endurance up from an hour up to 2 hours, and then 2 hours up to 3 hours, 3 hours up to 4 hours, and that was the maximum. I would suggest that if you are studying for an exam, whatever it is that you want to do, I would suggest don't try to study more than 4 hours a day because you will burn out very quickly, and anything above 4 hours, it will not go into your mind anyways. You will forget it. So keep it to that 4 hours. Don't go anymore. Now, within these 4 hours, because we're doing Pomodoro 50-10, we're actually only studying for 50 minutes times 4 instead of studying an hour times 4. So you save about 40 minutes basically in the end. And this is why during the exam season, and actually just like in general, I never plan my fun time around my study time. I always plan my study time around my fun time because otherwise studying will become a chore and I will end up not liking it. So let's say, for example, this weekend, my boyfriend's parents came up to stay with us. And my boyfriend was like, well, we don't have to do anything. We can just stay at home so that you can study. And I'm like, no, it's fine. Like, I am okay. If we want to go out, we go out. I will study after. If I have to stay up, that's fine. But I do not want to sacrifice my fun time for my study time. Because otherwise, I will hate studying. Studying will not be fun for me anymore. So now for me, studying becomes like a wind down routine. Basically, it's part of my sleeping routine where before I go to sleep I do a difficult calculus question. I don't know, that sounds so weird, but I do like a difficult calculus question from my textbook or something like that, just so that I can train my mind a little bit, and then it helps me sleep for some reason. I think in my head it's like if I tire my brain out, I will sleep better. And to be fair, I'm very, very good at sleeping. Oh yeah, that's another thing. When you're disciplined, you'll be so good at sleeping. I'm telling you, I've trained myself to sleep immediately, anywhere and everywhere. I could just lay down and then tell my body, okay, it's time for you to relax. My whole body will relax. Like I will literally release all tension from my body. For example, to release tension, you can like with your mouth, with your jaw, you can stop tensing it because you tend to clench your jaw a lot. Just if you're watching this video, can you see if you're clenching your jaw? Because if you are, there's one trick to do that. Literally make your tongue be in between your mouth and the bottom of your, what am I trying to say? Like make your tongue float, basically. When you make your tongue float, it will stop your jaw from clenching. And then I do this for the rest of my body. I'm like, okay, time to relax my shoulders. So then I take a deep breath. And after when I release, I literally release the tension from my shoulders. And then if I feel like my hands are like clenching like this, because sometimes I just do that for some reason. I just clench my hands before I go to sleep, and I can feel tension there. I will just unclench it, and I do that with the rest of my body, and I will fall asleep like within seconds, like immediately. So that's another thing that I've trained myself to do. And yeah, so if you're disciplined, you will literally have a very good sleep. So that's another plus, isn't it? And this is why I can study for as long as I want. If I'm only sleeping like 6 hours a day, 7 hours a day, I'm fine because my body is fully in a deep sleep by that point, and I'm not like getting up and then falling back asleep again, getting up, falling back asleep again. I'm literally in a deep sleep the entire time. I am not a sleep therapist or anything though, so just take that with a grain of salt. But yeah, a lot of people ask me, how do I stay motivated? And as I said, I don't have any more motivation. Even if I'm not motivated, it doesn't matter. I can study because I'm disciplined. And that is how I do well in university. That is how I'm at the top of my class in university doing chemical engineering. Because I am disciplined. I do the further reading that is set from my professors. Being a good student is nothing to do with like, oh, she studies a lot. Yes, I study a lot, but I study the right things. So I can study like an hour a day and I still study the right things, while somebody else would study 24 hours before the exam and cram it all, but only know like 5 things. And that's because with my consistency, I'm able to do a lot more things, like do further reading. And when it comes to university, further reading is so important. I know people always say that, and I heard it before I went to university, but I never followed through until I am in my master's year now. And I wish I did follow through with it before, because it helped me so much. A lot of the information that you need for your exam, for your courseworks, are already in the further reading. That is how they spoon feed you, basically. But yeah, aside from that, hopefully that helps. If you guys want to support me, you can support me on my Patreon, which I will put down below. And aside from that, I will see you on my TikTok daily or on this YouTube channel every single week. Thank you. Bye.